The Buddha speaks the Ulambana Sutra. Thus I have heard, at one time, the Buddha dwelt at Shravasti in the garden of the benefactor of orphans and the solitary. Muhammad Kalyana had just obtained the 6 penetrations and wished to cross over his father and mother to repay their kindness for raising him. Thus, using his way eye, he regarded the world and saw that his deceased mother had been born among the hungry ghosts. Having neither food nor drink, she was but skin and bones. Muhammad Kalyana felt deep pity and sadness, filled a bowl with food, and went to provide for his mother. She got the bowl, screened it with her left hand, and with her right hand made a fist of food. But before it entered her mouth, it turned into burning coals which could not be eaten. Muhammad Kalyana called out and wept sorrowfully, and hastened to return to the Buddha to set forth all of this. The Buddha said, "Your mother's offenses are deep and firmly rooted. You alone do not have enough power. Although your filial sounds move heaven and earth, the heaven spirits, the earth spirits, twisted demons, and those outside the way, Brahmins, and the 4 heavenly king gods are also without sufficient strength. The awesome spiritual power of the assembled Sangha of the 10 directions is necessary for liberation to be attained. I shall now speak a dharma of rescue, which causes all those in difficulty to leave worry and suffering, and to eradicate obstacles from offenses." The Buddha told Madhgalyana, "The 15th day of the 7th month is the Pravarana day for the assembled Sangha of the 10 directions. For the sake of fathers and mothers of 7 generations past, as well as for fathers and mothers of the present who are in distress, you should prepare an offering of clean basins full of hundreds of flavors and 5 fruits, and other offerings of incense, oil, lamps, candles, beds, and bedding, all the best of the world, to the greatly virtuous assembled Sangha of the 10 directions. On that day, all the holy assembly, whether in the mountains practicing dhyana samadhi, or obtaining the 4 fruits of the way, or walking beneath trees, or using the independence of the 6 penetrations to teach and transform sound hearers and those enlightened to conditions, or provisionally manifesting as bhikshus when in fact they are great bodhisattvas of the 10th ground, all complete with pure precepts and ocean-like virtue of the holy way, should gather in a great assembly, and all of like mind receive the Pravarana food. If one thus makes offerings to these Pravarana Sangha, one's present father and mother, parents of 7 generations past, as well as the 6 kinds of close relatives, will escape from the 3 paths of suffering, and at that time attain release. Their clothing and food will spontaneously appear. If the parents are still alive, they will have wealth and blessings for 100 years. Parents of 7 generations past will be born in the heavens. Transformationally born, they will independently enter the celestial flower light and experience limitless bliss. At that time, the Buddha commanded the assembled Sangha of the 10 directions to recite mantras and vows for the sake of the donor's family, for parents of 7 generations. After practicing dhyana concentration, the Sangha accepted the food. When they first received the basin, they placed it before the Buddha in the stupa. When the assembled Sangha had finished the mantras and vows, they received the food. At that time, the Bhikshu Maudgalyana and the assembly of great Bodhisattvas were all extremely delighted, and the sorrowful sound of Maudgalyana's crying ceased. At that time, Maudgalyana's mother obtained liberation from 1 kalpa of suffering as a hungry ghost. Maudgalyana addressed the Buddha and said, "This disciple's parents have received the power of the merit and virtue of the triple jewel because of the awesome spiritual power of the assembled Sangha. If in the future the Buddha's disciples practice filiality by offering up the Ulambana basins, will they be able to cross over their present fathers and mothers as well as those of 7 generations past?" The Buddha replied, "Good indeed. I am happy you asked that question. I just wanted to speak about that, and now you have also asked about it. Good man, if bhikshus, bhikshunis, kings, crown princes, great ministers, great officials, cabinet members, the 100 ministers, and the tens of thousands of citizens wish to practice compassionate filial conduct for the sake of the parents who bore them, as well as for the sake of fathers and mothers of 7 lives past, on the 15th day of the 7th month, the day of the Buddha's delight, the day of the Sangha's pravarana, they all should place hundreds of flavors of foods in the Ulambana basins and offer them to the pravarana Sangha of the 10 directions. They should vow to cause the length of their present fathers' and mothers' lives to reach 100 years without illnesses, without sufferings, afflictions, or worries, and also vow to cause 7 generations of fathers and mothers to leave the sufferings of the hungry ghosts, to be born among humans and gods, and to have blessings and bliss without limit. The Buddha told all the good men and good women, "Those disciples of the Buddha who can cultivate filial conduct should, in thought after thought, constantly recall their present fathers and mothers when making offerings, as well as the fathers and mothers of 7 lives past. Every year, on the 15th day of the 7th month, they should always, out of filial compassion, recall their parents who bore them and those of 7 lives past, and for their sakes perform the offering of the Ulambana basin to the Buddha and the Sangha, and thus repay the loving kindness of the parents who raised and nourished them. All Buddha's disciples should respectfully receive this Dharma." At that time, the Bhikshu, Maudgalyana, and the fourfold assembly of disciples, hearing what the Buddha said, practiced it with delight. End of the Buddha speaks of Ulambana Sutra, true words for repaying parents' kindness. Namo Mili Dua Dua Poye Swaha. 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 Buddha's True Dharma website. Great transference of merit. Namo burning lamp ancient Buddha, the master that bestowed a prediction of Buddhahood on Shakyamuni Buddha. Namo fundamental teacher Shakyamuni Buddha. Namo quelling disasters, lengthening life, medicine master Buddha, thus come one of the eastern pure lapis lazuli land. Namo guide master Amita Buddha, of the western land of ultimate bliss. Namo Maitreya honored future Buddha. Namo Manjushri great wisdom Bodhisattva. Namo universal worthy great conduct Bodhisattva. Namo Guanshiyin great kindness and compassion Bodhisattva Mahasattva. Namo great strength Bodhisattva Mahasattva. Namo earth treasury king great vow Bodhisattva Mahasattva. Namo great pure sea-like assembly of Bodhisattvas Mahasattva. Bow with utmost sincerity to all those who see and hear of this, and wish those to share together subtle Dharma. Be full with the joy of the Dharma and 6 periods of auspiciousness, mind enlightened, and understand true meaning. Go to the liberation and achieve Buddhahood. Namo throughout all the space and pervades the experiential realm, past, present, and future, all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, all preeminent Dharma, and all noble and sagely Sangha Mahasattva. Grateful to the Dharma, guarding dragons and devas, protecting true Dharma. Grateful to all enlightened ones, Mahasattva, wishing past, future, and present, all unenlightened living beings, whether monks or the laity, men or women, any ethnic group, every kind of sentient being, and 6 destinies beings, are together all ashamed of the behaviors, speech, and thoughts from previous lifetimes because of greed, anger, and folly, and thus repent with utmost sincerity and never repeat again. Pray with utmost sincerity to all perfectly enlightened ones that are throughout all the space and pervade the experiential realm, who bless with compassion and authority the countless suffering beings to purify self-nature, escape suffering, and attain happiness and complete liberation. I vow that this merit and virtue may extend to all living beings, so that I and all beings may together realize the Buddha way.